Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Friday Night Fightcast. Here today with a special guest, Globku. How you doing?
Hey, terrific. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, the pleasure is all mine. So, how do you feel about the YouTube Studio that we're now forced to use because they closed down the old stuff, or were you already using it?
I was already using it because I knew the change would be inevitable. I refused to use their new uploader for a long time, and only like a month ago did I start actually getting used to it. Because I feel like the old uploader, you could actually upload things a lot faster. You know, write tags, description, all that in the same page, and now you have to go step by step, and that was kind of harmful to the workflow. But I think I've gotten used to it, and overall, I think the YouTube Studio has allowed them to bring you better analytics. Overall, the one thing that I really like about the new Studio is the way they present analytics, and it's much more detailed, and it's much easier to find the things that you're looking for overall. So yeah, I've gotten used to it, and there are things that I prefer the old one for sure, but I think we're all going to be a little resistant to change every time, even if that changes for the better. Because why are you changing the thing I was used to? Now I got to learn this new.
Yeah, initially I did feel like it was unintuitive at first. I was like, man, everything used to be right there, and now I have to dig through, or it's just made smaller. Like a lot of the stuff you're looking for is like just in a smaller tab, or it's just kind of harder to find. And I was like, well, now I got it. And I'm still not using the new uploader because you can still use the old uploader for whatever reason, but you can't use Studio Classic. I don't know.
I mean,
just find it very
I don't
odd.
know. I don't know for how long that will be.
That's true.
So I'd get used to the new one.
I wanted to post on like Twitter. I was like, you'll drag me kicking and screaming because they're like, oh, get ready. By the end of April, you're not going to have it anymore. And I'm like, then I will keep using it until the end of April. But then like they got rid of it sooner. Like, don't worry, everyone's already using the new one. I'm like, who? Show me. Show me these stats. Like, that's ridiculous. It just seemed unnecessary, but it's cool they have better analytics. I'll have to look at that just to check my stuff. That seems like fun. Okay.
Yeah, and I think it ties better with the app as well. And I use the app a lot. So that's actually my number one thing for looking at analytics is just my phone. Spare time, look at the analytics. How's it doing? What videos are performing the better and what videos aren't? They have this new thing where whenever you upload a video, they directly compare it to your last 10 uploads. And they compare it, they give it a rank from 1 to 10. And that rank, it always takes into account how long the video was uploaded. So for instance, I don't have a great video recently, which was this My Hero One's Justice video. And it's ranked 9 out of 10. That is compared to my last 10 videos, 2 days and 21 hours after upload. So it's taking the analytics for each one of these videos, 2 days and 21 hours after each upload.
Good.
Just to give you a better idea of what's performing well and what's not.
Yeah, because those first 2 days are the
really
most
cool.
important ones. And like sometimes day number 2 actually does do better than day number 1. It's not common, but it can happen. Or especially with my videos because they always get demonetized. So
And
day
if
2
you've
always
uploaded 1 hour ago, it will compare the stats of that video to the other videos 1 hour after upload. Too.
That is really cool.
That is awesome.
That's a great way to gauge yourself. Yeah, I saw on Twitter you posted like, well, I like this game, but it's just not doing it. Can't pay the rent with this video.
Yeah, I think that there's a line that you constantly need to walk, which is there are the games that I like and there are the games that I should be covering. And they don't always overlap. And sometimes, I think from the outside looking in, people look at YouTubers and, I wish I could do what that guy's doing because honestly, it's a great job and I'm not complaining about it, but it's not just playing the games you like and making videos on them. Sometimes the games you like don't perform. And if you keep covering them, you have that option. And eventually it could, become the thing in your channel if you fight hard and long enough for it. Or it could just completely tank it. You never really know until you've committed. And in that case, that was a Grand Blue Fantasy Versus video, which is a game that I really like playing, but I never really saw the potential in the West. Like the game sold like crazy in Japan, but in the West, I see a very passionate community and people are very vocal about it, but the numbers aren't there. There are just not enough people interested in watching or playing it. And so, it's not a smart decision to keep covering that game on this channel. Maybe other channels have made it work. But in my case specifically, I had to make the hard decision of dropping it.
You'd think that the Netflix adaptation would have really helped. There's like a Netflix series for Grand Blue that you can
Is it
watch.
the anime?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just the anime. Yeah, not the adaptation. My bad. I misspoke.
didn't didn't know it was on Netflix actually.
Yeah, that's where I
Gotta
saw
look
it, and I
that
watched a
up.
little bit of it, but like it's one of those shows that starts off in the middle of the plot. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. So this is
Did they
really
start with season 2? Because they
no,
had
no. I
two
just mean like
seasons.
it started with like
Huh.
it may just start off the first episode in the middle of the plot and then have flashbacks, but I was still like really confused. I didn't have much free time, so I just had to leave in the middle of like episode one. I'm one of those people where I'm like, you didn't hook me immediately. I have to go. So
That's fair. Nowadays, that's fair. You have 5 minutes to hook me into your show, or I'm moving on because there is too much stuff to watch out there. That is a fair thing you just did there. You've probably run into this a lot too, right? Because I mean, you love Mortal Kombat, but you've tried other stuff. I've
oh
seen
no,
it.
for sure. Like I think my favorite games to play actually are usually 3D fighting games. I usually prefer Tekken and Soul Calibur, but those definitely don't bring in the views typically. They do a bit better on Twitch, but like on YouTube, Tekken's like 7 years old or whatever at this point, and like Soul Calibur 6 didn't hit very hard to begin with. It started
Right.
off good for like the first couple of weeks, and then it like dropped off immediately, which really surprised
Yeah.
me. And then like the exact same story with your Grand Blue Versus for me was Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. I played that and I was like, oh, this is a really fun game. First 3 videos
No,
do
I
pretty
had
well,
that.
and then
Yeah.
just like face plants, and I'm like, oh, no one's
I
watching
had the
anymore.
exact same experience with VV Tag. Yeah, I had the exact same experience. It's unfortunate, but I wouldn't trade it for anything else. It's still my favorite thing to do, and I wouldn't trade this job for anything else. I mean, it comes with these downsides, and it sounds like we're complaining a lot, but this job is awesome.
I
wouldn't trade
definitely
it.
couldn't complain. It's still not my primary job yet. I still have my regular day job, but if I could make it my full time thing, that'd be cool. Because like one guy even said, yeah, I
do
teach.
you
That's my
do?
day job.
Okay, but do you want to leave it, or
Oh, I
like
mean,
do you
not really. I
teach
don't want to
what-
leave the kids, like the students. You get attached to them, but
Yeah.
But like
But
having your own hours
you have
sounds really
your own-
fantastic. And just like if
Okay.
you're 2 days ahead on YouTube, for example, you can go, I'm really tired today. I'm just not going to work. And most jobs don't allow for that kind of flexibility. So
Like you definitely seem like a big enough channel to make it full time. Though, yeah, Mortal Kombat maybe not the best monetization thing. Yeah.
Mortal Kombat
okay.
right now is like posting videos about the C virus or posting like, news videos. You're just asking to get demonetized by Big Daddy YouTube coming in with his belt, just gonna whack you.
Yeah.
I told you not to make that content, but dad. And I laugh in the comments because people are like, why are you censoring it? They said they're not going to demonetize. I'm like, oh, I don't know what they told you. But my
That's funny.
video reports don't lie. I see that yellow $ all the time. So don't tell me they're not demonetizing me despite all the filters. Like you can try really hard and they still might demonetize you. The good news is used to anything even labeled Mortal Kombat got demonetized. So even like a tier list would still get demonetized. Not anymore. Now they actually are somehow looking for the gameplay. But I don't know what
Okay.
they're looking for because I'll censor all the really like obscene stuff. No crushing blows, no fatal blows. And still,
I mean, maybe putting a bloody Garrus and a bloody Sub-Zero on the thumbnail was not the best of ideas.
that one did fine so far. That one didn't get
Okay.
demonetized yet. Yeah,
Okay.
the
Maybe
thumbnail
that's the
police aren't as
secret.
strong. The only time the thumbnail police got me was the Scarlet one, which I thought I would just do for fun because I have my new tablet.
Okay.
And I thought I'd try it. You can't see it now. I changed the thumbnail already. It still has Scarlet, but it's not
Oh.
the same. I've already changed it. Yeah, because it got demonetized, and I'm like, well, should have seen that coming. I don't
that
get.
video still got nerfed to the ground, man. It's like,
Well, I
it's
don't
not
get
performing.
how the AI on YouTube finds anime titties. How does it know? But
Seen
but
too
yeah,
many, dude.
It's seen too many. It knows all about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I made that, and then I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute, I probably shouldn't post that in case one student finds my channel or something. I'll change it, make it a bit more PC. But I teach high school, so I can't even pretend they haven't already been watching all of that already. And
Yeah.
yeah.
You just don't want them to bring it up in class.
No, you don't. Yeah, no, you definitely don't. That's why I don't let them watch the channel. If they do discover it, they can't watch it in class because I hate hearing my voice in the room with someone else listening to it. I think everyone like will listen to their
Yeah,
own
it's
videos to double
awkward.
check themselves, but someone else listening to it, you're like, no, stop.
It's awkward, yeah. I've been to a couple of tournaments. Last one where this happened was actually the Dragon Ball Fighters World Tour Finals in France, and I kept hearing myself all the time, and it was always people just like doing a double take on me, opening the channel, clicking a video. I'm like, okay,
Just the home
this
video.
is happening now. And they're watching the video and they're, are you this guy? Yeah, that's me. Thank you for clicking my video.
There's a lot of creators who wish they had that, because when I was at Combo Breaker last year, because of course everything's canceled now thanks to Mr. Big C. But at like Combo Breaker, there were some creators who were a bit smaller. They were wearing jackets with their names on it and stuff and all that, and their channel names. And I'm like, I would never do that, but that's not a bad play. Like that might work in some regards. I was still getting people like who noticed me despite me wearing the hat, which is something that I lost that hat. It was my fault.
I don't think your face is on the channel a lot, though.
It's not. That's kind of by design. I've been told to do it more and more, so I'm doing it more and more. But I still don't have the green screen. I still don't have the stuff. I haven't tried that hard with the background.
It's just one of the reasons why people don't recognize you as much, because I think otherwise they would.
Well, I still got a few people, and I was like, okay. And my one buddy, he's from the UK, so he didn't get as many. And he's like, well, if we were in the UK, I'm like, I believe you. You just high-fiving my camera right there? Oh, you're out of focus.
No, yeah, I'm out of focus. Why is it focusing super close? There I am. Okay.
It's like the face recognition is messing up. All right, so we're a bit late to get into this now, but for anyone who doesn't watch your channel, you do a lot of the cool games that like a lot of people don't cover, like My Hero's One Justice or the One Punch Man, all those fun party fighting games. Is there a term for that? Is there a genre for that kind of fighting game?
Arena Fighters is usually
Arena Fighter. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, and fun is a word that sometimes I wouldn't use to describe these games. So I have an anime games channel. That's basically the topic. And if the anime game is a 2D fighter, I dive deep into it. If it is a 3D fighting arena fighter, then I dive into it. My Hero One's Justice is actually sort of proof that arena fighters can be competitive too.
Cool.
We also had Kill La Kill If somewhat recently. It didn't sell super well. So if you buy it now, you might not find any matches online. But there's a Discord server. You can find matches there, I'm sure. But then arena fighters get this reputation, like you just said, they're just fun party games, because they keep dishing out the same sort of crappy combat system. And it's like, okay, you mash square to make a combo happen, you throw a special at the end, and you have 40 different characters you can pick. Thing is, all of those characters play exactly the same. And the mechanics are floaty, and the supers do way too much damage, and there are just unfair mechanics where, well, let's say someone whiffed an attack and you went in for a whiff punish. Well, now there is a way for that guy to get out of that whiff punish almost for free with a resource that really doesn't cost anything, and then throw a raw super and kill you.
My students love them, though, to be fair. So, I mean, they were always talking about, are you going to play like Jump Force? I'm like, probably not. Why not? And I'm like, I don't know how to play those, like, to be honest with you. So I just be running around being goofy, which is fine, but it wouldn't be the kind of content you're used to where I'm really like involved in it.
15 minutes in the lab, you can figure that game out.
Well, I mean,
the thing is,
it looked ridiculous.
Like, you start a combo on a character in Jump Force, and they have an escape button. They can use the escape during your combo. They spend all of their stamina, and their stamina is a little circle that you can see in the corner. And using the escape spends all of their stamina, which means they can't dash at you afterwards. But the escape also leaves them at almost a perfect distance to start a combo back or throw a raw special. And keep in mind, they did this while you were comboing them, so there's no way for you to block unless you read the exact moment that they're going to do it, which is almost impossible. And then on top of that, to use the escape again, you don't need to wait for the stamina to regen all the way. If you have a pixel of stamina, you can just use it again, which means it's very hard to catch someone who is just mashing, someone who is just throwing random specials, because that's what the game wants to reward. And in a way, it wants to be that sort of casual game, and ends up not having that much depth. And I think that, first of all, degrades the image of anime arena fighters, because once a good one comes out, everyone's already like, oh, another one of those. Actually, you look at the mechanics in this one, and it's actually different, but who you're going to convince at that point?
And that's the My Hero one. That one's actually pretty competitive, you're saying, and has a lot of depth to it.
Yeah, My Hero has 40 characters. Every single one of them plays super different. There are a lot of gimmicky characters, and they also did a good job with translating the quirks from the anime into the game and giving each different character a completely different moveset. different tech and all of that. There are always the universal mechanics, but you can't just pick up a character and start mashing and make stuff happen. I mean, stuff will happen because it's still an anime fighter, so there are auto combos and stuff like that. But if you want to learn a character, you're actually going to have to spend like an hour in the lab with that character, and that's more than these games usually do.
And I remember that one guy. I forget the name, despite watching the anime. Like up until it like recently, I think the season just ended, but I was watching it. I forget the name of the guy who's like All for One Junior with the hand on his face. I already forgot his name.
Oh yeah, Shigaraki.
See, I would have said something similar to that, but it wouldn't have been quite right. I knew it was a shit at the start. Shigarasa. Yeah, he was super broken in the first one, right? Or he had some like crazy ability when the first game came out, and then in the sequel, is he a bit more balanced?
He had a lot of damage in the first game. Sort of like he had some combo loops that people called infinites, but the truth is there are no infinites.
Because you can break away, right? With that like stamina thing.
You have a breakaway if you have assists.
Okay, cool.
It uses your entire assist meter, while using an assist offensively only uses half. So it's sort of a resource management thing.
I like that more.
And and also like people were just getting reset basically, and I keep getting reset, and this is an infinite, and it really wasn't. Like, there.
To be fair, I've seen YouTubers mislead players with that too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I've seen some YouTubers who are like, 100% damage combo, and you watch it, and it's just a reset, and you're like, hey, that wasn't a combo. Like the thing reset. Like, you can't call that a combo.
Yeah. But and people had options to get out of it, but it's an arena fighter. You don't have the traditional 2D fighting game players labbing this game as hard as they do the 2D fighting games, and so it's a completely different audience that is not used to a lot of the terminology we use, and not used to the tech that people discover, which, in a way is awesome, because in the first game they stopped patching it like 3 months after release, and like a year later we saw new top tiers because one guy decided to lab a new character.
That's awesome.
The character was just completely undiscovered, but then this one guy decided to grind it really hard, and oh wow, this character is actually good. And
dang, like a Sea Viper or like a Tira in Soul Calibur, and Soul Calibur 5.
I don't know.
She was considered garbage tier. Like, Tira was considered garbage tier, and then she wins Evo. And then after she wins Evo, everyone's like, oh my god, we must learn the matchup for our main against this character because she's this new threat. And it was the same with Panda in Tekken 7. That one player learned Panda, and his literal reason for learning Panda is, I don't like the step. I don't want to learn the movement as much. I just want to mess you up. So he picked a character that can like minimalize that risk and get reward for like, you trying to sidestep him and all that, or her, because Panda's a girl. But so then everyone learned the Panda matchup. Like, oh my god, Panda's this new threat. So that's really funny.
Yeah. The big difference is that a pro doesn't need to pick it up. It's just someone with patience, someone that is willing to hit the lab and grind it out for a bit, because the competitive community around My Hero Wants Justice is, and this is not a brag, but most of it is on my server, on my Discord server. And a lot of the top players go there, and it's because first of all, this game does not have a real ranked system. Basically, you play matches, and if you lose, you still get points. So it's basically a big grind. It's like it's a leaderboard for how much you've played the game and not how good you are. Yeah. So I started making tournaments and giving out, prize pools to try and call those people in, and that became sort of the meta. Like, these are the top players. These are the really guys that have done it in tournaments, and these are the guys setting the meta. I'm really proud of that community. I really am.
Well, you're doing a good part then. Like, you're doing a very large part helping keep that thing going and growing. That's great.
Thank you. I try. It's also doing well on the channel, so I'm also benefiting from it.
It's a very popular show. It's the same with Dragon Ball Fighters, right? Like, I think Fighters is different. It's more of a traditional 2D style fighting game, though it does have some of those gimmicks that you're talking about, where it's like, I did an unsafe move. You want to punish me? Ooh, vanish. That's happened to me so many times. Where like I see them do a move, and I do like a level 3 super thing, and they're gonna fall into it, and they go pew, vanish. I'm like, but you were already in the move, and it throws me off. I can't wrap my head around that they can do that at like any time, and I'm like, and And it took me forever just to learn that not to backdash whenever they vanish on me. Because my brain thinks that, okay, you did a cross-up, that's got to be minus. But it's not. Their vanish is totally either plus or like at worst neutral. So
no, it is plus. Yeah, I think +3. I think.
Yeah, and if they're in sparking, it changes
vanish,
too.
You gotta block.
So yeah.
In sparking, they can vanish cancel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a fun game. It's still a really fun game. It's just got the touch of death thing. That's what my friends don't like about it.
I'll still consider that my main game.
It's great. Yeah, that's actually how I found your channel, because that game was blown up big time. And I was like, look at this guy's professional guides. Like, he has these awesome transitions and the lightning and all that, and he has the studio. This guy's professional AF. Can't compete with this.
That was on the other. That was on TGN, right?
That's true. That's true. But still, you were the reason why I was getting views, not so much TGN, if you ask me. But yeah.
Thank you for that. That's also when I became aware of you, because people would go to the comments and say, your guides, Maximilians, and True Underdogs are the best guides. They're the only ones I watch. And I'm like, who's this underdog guy that they're putting next to Maximilian? And then I went to check you out. And I think I've been subscribed for a while.
Yeah, you shocked me because you were like talking about a video that I posted recently, and I'm like, who is this man that has time to watch other people's videos? He must have an editor. I was like, I don't have time to watch anyone's stuff.
One, yes, I have an editor.
Smart.
That is almost a must-have.
We'll have to negotiate rates later outside the video so I can know how little I get to pay my editor and still keep them alive. No, I'm kidding. I have friends who actually wanted to do that, and I'm like, I don't know if I make enough to pay you like a living wage as like an editor and all that.
I think standard rate is like $100 per video. Depends on the edit, but for the types of videos that we make, I think it's around $100, the standard rate. I have a different deal in place where I'm paying a monthly fixed fee and then some bonuses if work ends up being more intense than usual. But if you want to do, so you're not a full-time YouTuber, so you're doing fine. Don't take this as advice for your business. But if you want to be full-time YouTuber, just putting all your eggs in the YouTube basket is a terrible idea.
Well, yeah,
as
I had to start streaming.
The monetization and all that. So streaming, I got Patreon, so which means I got to do behind the scenes stuff and extra live streams for them. And I've got a TikTok now. I just made it. I don't know where it's going. I got sponsors that, people that want to advertise stuff on the channel. So you got to have all these different sources of income.
Sponsor is one of the biggest ones.
And you're definitely big enough to have sponsors, though I don't know if they want to advertise.
Well, I've done a few. I've gotten in trouble in the comment section already. I've already gotten the typical comments like, you sell out, you changed, man. And I'm like, it's the exact same video, just has an ad like 2 minutes in.
Be happy for True Underdog, man. Be happy that he's getting paid to make the videos that you love. You're not paying for them. You're watching them.
They think they are. Some of them think they are. There are those kinds of viewers. Have you gotten those before? Where it's like, oh, I guess I'll take my view elsewhere. And it's like, okay.
Well, those people can open up their Uber app and write, my mother's pussy, and try to go there to see if she gives a shit. Free content. No. Close the tab. Watch something else. If you're that offended about an ad in a video, close the tab and go somewhere else.
No, it's my fault. I did the forbidden ad. I did raid.
God.
Since you play anime fighters, what about Guilty Gear? Not to cut you off.
When's this coming out?
There's a closed beta, but you had to sign up for it.
Well, that's why I'm asking if this is coming out before or after the beta.
Oh, I usually put them out on Fridays, so it'll be after.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it will be during
pretty much, yeah. Actually. But that's what I mean.
I think it opens up on Okay. Yeah. I got a code. I am good to go. It's installed. It's nice. It's ready. I think on Friday it opens up just for offline, so you can start trying stuff out with the CPU. The first slot is at like 4 a.m. for me, so I'm not playing that. I'll play the second and third slots. Should be a fun time.
Should be fun. I got a code too, so how about like a little early preview? What are some like go-to tips for people like me who've barely even touched Guilty Gear? What's something that I should try to learn before I even go in?
You should try to learn Street Fighter.
Oh, Street Fighter with the air dashes.
It's really not a lot like Guilty Gear. A lot has changed, and that's part of what
Oh, I
makes me
see
so
what you mean.
curious
It's not
about
like the
this.
previous one, so it's just like
No,
going in
it
fresh.
really isn't.
Okay.
Like some language stuff might trip you up, like what's a Roman cancel, but even
Mhm.
those have slightly changed from the previous one. So learning what a Roman cancel is might be useful, but knowing that it will be slightly different in
Mhm.
Strive. And yeah, just the whole neutral and combo system, it's just completely different.
Oh, okay. So
Completely
they're doing like
different.
a Soul Calibur 6 thing where they're kind of doing like a soft reboot almost with like all the stuff. Because Soul Calibur 6
Ye-
did that with some characters too. Like some kept a lot of their iconic stuff, but recently a lot of characters got new moves. But the funny part was a lot of them were just returning classic moves that they've always had until Soul Calibur 6.
Right.
And they finally got a
Yeah,
classic
so,
move
yeah.
back. Yeah.
I guess it's sort of the same. Yeah, a lot of characters still have the same specials and stuff, but like the combos you did back then won't work. It's not
Well,
an
yeah, it's all
anime-
the same for me.
It's not an anime fighter with anime fighting combos, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be stuck in a combo for half an hour. It's more of a 2-3 hit thing normally.
Yeah.
If you're in the mid screen, in the
Surprisingly,
corner you
yeah.
can do some more.
A lot of
stuff,
resets.
but,
A lot of
it's-
reset city with some characters, like the
Yeah.
girl with the hair that attacks you. She's like, I'm going to set up
Yeah.
a ring and then I'm going to cross up, or will I? Maybe I won't.
Set it and forget it.
And she's going to get you, yeah. So, and also the characters who I even took some time to learn, like for the last game, aren't announced yet. So there's still no Jacko. We'll see if she makes it in.
Okay.
And there's still no Baiken yet. So those are like the two ones
that's
that
my
I
character.
spent the most time with. And I'm like, well, that wouldn't help anyway because she's not going to be in this beta. So I don't even know who's in the
gotta play
beta. Is it every
Baiken.
character they've announced so far, or is it going to be an even smaller pool?
Oh, good question. Yeah, good question. I actually have no idea.
Me neither.
I assume the two main characters will be there.
Yes. Blonde and brunette are heroes.
Yes, those two.
Good boy and
So
bad boy.
guy and Kai Kisuke. Yeah. They're both hero and anti-hero. Is
Thin
more
sword, big
what
sword.
They are. Gun sword.
Dante and Virgil. Not quite, but they have a similar kind of dynamic going on there. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
I'd probably try to
see
learn
it.
blonde boy just because I'm a blonde. Well, I used to be until I
seems-
forsook
yeah.
the sun and decided to stay inside.
He was actually a lot more accessible than the main character, which is not usual. At least I found him a lot more accessible than in the previous games.
Yeah.
So in this one, yeah, maybe the same. Like it's a character with a projectile with the DP. You know, it's your Shoto, so you can probably figure him out. The main character also has like a projectile, but the projectile is from the ground, so it's not really.
Yeah, he sticks in.
You
It
know,
does a little
it's-
ignite trail. Yeah, I saw a guy do a beginner's guide for him for the last game, not for this one. And I'm not sure how much of that will carry over. But I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. He seems like he's
Yeah, a
fun.
lot
But
of
he's
those
very
specials.
pressure based, where he just like he gets a hit, then he puts that little projectile down, and then based on how you respond to that, he has different answers and all that. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. He also has that
see.
really
I don't
cool
know.
dragon mode. What's the term? There's a term for this
Right.
in those games.
Install.
An install. There you go. Yeah. Because Gohan has it too, and everybody was sad that he didn't get like a super form. He just gets like a little lightning around him. They're like, oh, it would have been really cool if he had like a constant aura or something, just so he looks like I'm in level 7. But
Or a goddamn indicator if you're at least in level 1 or not, because a lot of
Oh, yeah.
adult Gohan mains are like, did I level up in this match yet or no? I tried to do the level 1 combo and I was still level 0. Damn.
it's a good combo. Like those level 0 and level 1 combos can be really good with Gohan. Yeah.
Yeah, Gohan is still crazy.
He's the Cyrax of that game. He's the leaky boat, always getting patched, but he's still usually pretty good. Yeah.
I'd say Kid Buu is the Cyrex of that.
Oh
game.
yeah.
He keeps being the top tier. And
Yeah. Well, he's the
They
hitbox
nerfed
thing
him
too,
last
though.
time. They nerfed him last time, but then it ended up being a buff somehow.
Nice.
Let's lower the recovery on this thing so he gets ground lag. No, we accidentally buffed Kid Buu again.
Yeah,
God damn it.
that's Garrus
And,
in Mortal Kombat. Garrus gets buffed with every nerf. It was really funny. Like he kept getting like he's still not as strong as he was, but they don't ever directly nerf him. It's always this got weaker, but also this got better. So he's just different now. Like one of their ideas was, oh, this anti-projectile move with Garrus is no longer going to crushing blow when it beats a projectile, and you're like, that's kind of weird. That's what that move is made for. But okay. It's like now instead you have to miss it intentionally twice, and then the third one crushing blows. And it's like, not only is that stupid, because why would a player want to do that? But also, now what you've done is give Garrus, one of the already higher damage characters, a way to combo into it, which he never could before. So now he just gets to have a better combo. You've given him like a great way to end his strings now. So buff.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny. All that good stuff. Meanwhile, Shao Kahn and Raiden just drown because they're both not good.
I don't miss playing against Garrus. I haven't picked up Mortal Kombat in a very long time, but playing against Garrus is not something I miss.
That game is starting to give me the Sailor Moon syndrome. I forgot the term for this, but it's when you play something and it makes you so sad sometimes you feel like you're actually getting symptoms of being ill, like you're getting sick. And
I have that right now. I just came from a Dragon Ball Fighter session. I was recording a video.
Oh, yeah.
I am warm as hell. I am so hot
getting feverish because you're so dismayed.
I am probably feverish right now.
Oh no!
I'm not kidding. This is real. And I love Dragon Ball Fighters, but playing that game online makes me sick.
Yeah,
makes me sick, dude.
I mean, I wanted to get back into it because they added all the new stuff, but then I was like, I do not. For one thing, there's updates that happen when I wasn't playing, so there's going to be things that I just don't know, that I didn't research and keep up on. And then also, all the new assists just means more things for me to try and block and deal with. And that's the game, right? You're either forcing the opponent to block or you are blocking. That's how it feels a lot of the time. Like, can I block this mix-up? Can I make them not block this mix-up? If either one of us falters here, I take your health bar. Yeah. It's legally mine if I just open you up. So.
And if I don't take your whole health bar, you're going to end in the corner and you're going to end up blocking again. And that's exactly what that game is. Yeah.
Yep.
Neutral is a very small part of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah, and there's also things that actively work against the neutral, like the super dash and the vanish, which lets you close the gap instantly, and theoretically can punish the opponent for pressing anything. Like say you jump and I want to anti-air, and you just go vanish, and it's like, oh no, got me.
Yeah, you can also wait for the vanish and 2x that.
Yes, there's definitely a meta behind it. Silly me was like, it would be nice if like the heavy would just turn, like if I do a 2H and they vanish, could I just turn and still hit them?
Yeah. It is infuriating when that happens. Because you're like, hey, Kid Buu hits from both sides. So
yeah, well, but no, Kid Buu has a bad 2H. They always tell me. They always tell me it's bad. It is pretty bad.
Yeah. It's good vertically. It's bad horizontally, but it hits both sides.
Oh, so it's like Gotenks. Does he have that too? Because he hits straight up.
Yes, Gotenks also has that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a fun character too. Went from people saying like, he's not that good, to him being like legit one of the best characters that everybody had on their team. And it's like,
he won season 1, man. He won the first season of Dragon Ball Fighters. That's the character that carried Kazunoko all the way to the title.
The magic finger, just like Harada, his special boy. I'm just referring to how Harada once said that he will update Tekken 7 to befit himself in tournaments, which I found great. He's like, I'll make the changes that I see fit to help assure my victory.
Love it.
So I mean, like, since we talked about you watching certain videos, what do you watch in your spare time on YouTube aside from scouting out other creators? What else do you like to watch?
I rarely scout other creators. I go to my subscription box and I click on what I want to watch at any given moment.
There you go.
I am subscribed to like 90 channels.
Okay.
So yeah, basically this is another way of saying work on your thumbnails and titles, because those are the ones that appeal to me are the ones that I'm going to click. I don't have time to watch everything. And like me, there are a lot of people out there that don't have time to watch everything.
And I'm such a boomer. I still haven't unlocked the ancient art of the subscription tab. I still I know what creators I like. So I just type in their name in the search bar and I'm like, there's a video.
There are creators that I watch every single one of their videos. And then there are a lot of others that I like their content, but I'm not religiously watching them. You're on that category, by the way. I'm not religiously watching your stuff, but once
damn
in a
it!
while,
What I do wrong? What can I do better?
Just kidding. I think I am sort of addicted to good editing, and there are just some top tier editors out there.
Oh, I see. Well, you would like the Inside the Mind videos then, because those have crazy editing. But yeah.
Oh yeah, usually yeah. I used to watch a lot of those.
Those ones actually kill me. Those are like ridiculous. Like there's so much editing involved, and you're like, okay, is this even worth it? It seemed like a good idea.
You haven't made one in a while.
I can't. I'm out of characters.
You probably made Spawn. Right, you're out of characters.
Yeah. People had good ideas, but it's like I'm also not sad that that video is gone for a bit because they're so hard. Like it takes the whole day to like make a video of like of that caliber, or just in that style. I mean, so like I wasn't super sad to see it go. I took the folder on my desktop that has all of those videos and all the stored files, and I was like, delete, because there's no more for a bit.
So
and I'm like,
much free space.
exactly,
Got
like
all this
literally
free
over
space.
100 gigs freed up, and I was like, oh, beautiful. So happy.
Yeah.
And then we have, of course, there's probably going to be a combat pack too. So like when that comes out, we're going to get more people and more videos and all that. Someone was like, oh, you should make a video where like it's how everyone else sees the character, not how the player like sees it themselves, but like how everyone else views them. And I'm like, that's a fun idea. That'd be kind of hard to do, but I could see that working. Like everybody hates Jade and just all the negative aspects of Jade and how people feel about her.
See.
But
That could work.
it's not super different though, really, because that's already what I was making fun of, was the cliche stuff. So
I guess. Yeah. Things only. No, that's the same thing.
so
I was kind of brainstorming for you now.
so is my well, you said Fighters is like your true love for the anime fighters right now. If you're on an
I said
island
it's
though,
my main game.
yeah, your main game. Oh, you just mean like
Have
the
I
game you
what?
put the most time in then, but not necessarily your favorite.
I'm really angry at fighters right now in this specific moment because I just came from an online session. So
Yeah. Well, what always
I
made
don't
me
know
mad
if-
at Fighters
I don't
was
know
just,
if it's fair to say no, but tomorrow I
Yeah.
might say yes again. 'Cause
oh, it's like me and alcohol.
we have
I
a
see.
love-hate relationship, man.
There you go. Yeah, it's like me and the poison.
But yeah, maybe of the games that I cover on the channel, it might be my favorite. Yeah. I
Well,
think
let's
that's
say
fair
that
to
you've been taken to an island, and they like, no, you only get one fighting game. What fighting game do you keep with you?
Gosh. Oh gosh.
It's an important moment right now.
That is an important moment. I might actually go Mortal Kombat.
Which one?
Oh, 11 is the best one.
Oh, is
By
it?
a mile.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind.
Okay.
Wait, but am I playing by myself? What's going on? What,
No, you get to
who's on
still
this-
play a fighting game the way you play a fighting game. You still get to have all the online
Well,
and stuff. You just only get to have one.
Oh, online, I'm not taking fighters for sure. Yeah, I might take Mortal Kombat 11.
But wait, if you
I
you can't
think.
do fighters. I mean, fighters be worse if you didn't have online, because that story mode is, I don't know, man.
But I get angry. I don't want to get angry in my deserted island.
I see what you mean.
I get really
Yeah.
angry, man. Bad connections, and right now, I don't know if it's the quarantine or whatever, but I don't think ISPs are, they don't have the
Yeah.
broadband or the bandwidth to give a good connection to everyone. So I think players are actually plugged in. They're not playing through Wi-Fi, but the connection, the matches are still.
Does it not tell you?
Yeah.
It doesn't tell you if your opponent is
Sorry?
LAN cable or not?
No, I
Oh.
love that about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I mean, like, so a lot of games, to be fair, are doing it now. It's just one thing that fighters barely messed up on, I think. They just didn't consider that.
What
'Cause,
other games are doing that?
Tekken, I think, shows too. Or it at least shows the connection. It may not show if they're LAN or Wi-Fi, but it shows at least their bars. So that's nice. I mean, the
Interesting.
thing is, too, with Mortal Kombat 11, it's a half measure because you can't even turn down matches a lot of the time. So it just lets you know, oh, I'm in for it. This connection might just drop out of nowhere because that's a Wi-Fi player. I had one guy like admit that he was on a hotspot when he played me, and I'm like, oh my
Come on.
lord, because I was like, man, that was fun, but that connection, man. And he's like, oh, sorry, I'm on a hotspot, and I'm like, why would you do this to people? That's like pendant stare level punishment.
We talked about arena fighters earlier. Some of them have terrific netcodes, and a lot of them come from Japan. And sometimes it's weird how 2D fighting games and arena fighters live in these completely different universes when they could be learning from each other. Kill La Kill If you mentioned the hotspot, and as part of my review process, because the servers were up but there weren't a lot of people playing it, wasn't easy to just play match after match and test the netcode. I found some dude that was playing it in the United States, and I played him with a LAN cable, I played him on Wi-Fi, and then I played him on a hotspot. And the only thing that lagged was the intros. After the intros were done, I didn't feel any lag at all.
Fantastic.
And that is insane. That is insane. How a game can have that good of a netcode. And this was Kill La Kill. My Hero also has a solid netcode. But again, the player base is different. They're not used to to fighting games. Most of them don't have an Ethernet cord, so you're gonna be
Yeah.
playing a lot of Wi-Fi.
Well, it makes sense they would have great connections, though. That's how they stream those new episodes on day one. They have to have their good internet. How else can they watch My Hero Academia the second it drops? Come on.
Man,
They gotta have their
what
great
about
internet.
what about Dragon? But why is Dragon Ball Fighters bad? Why is it bad then? It's so bad.
I mean, I could stereotype, but I don't actually know. I could say, mostly kid player base, or I don't know. Because I know a ton of, or they're all playing on Switch. I don't know.
It's a bad netcode. It's horrible.
And
Same
like,
with Granblue Fantasy Versus, by the way.
you hate to blame
That
like internet,
netcode
but that game
eats
requires
inputs.
such precise reacting to like double overheads or like empty jump low and all that. So just a little bit of lag, you're like, yeah. I want to say GG, but part of me also wants to say locally that wouldn't have worked. Like that would not have got me if we were sitting next to each other. But
I'm trying to stop saying that. I'm really trying. I go to local tournaments, and that's sometimes that I feel like that's the main reason why I practice these games. It's to get better at my local scene, but it is my job to play online. Shouldn't I just be better at playing online? So I try not to say, locally that wouldn't work. Well, I should be good online. That's where I should be good at, because it's my job.
my new catchphrase is saying online is wild. Like, I thought I blocked that. Online is wild. Or I thought I ducked that. Because that's what happens the most, is that you can neutral duck throws in Mortal Kombat. So you can just let go of block and duck and like, and then and blow them up. And that's really fun. But I swear to God, I let go of block and they still throw me. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. I definitely ducked. Like, that's sad. I was totally going to blow them up for that. And they just got what they wanted. They threw me. And those throws hurt, man. It's like 14% damage. And then crushing blow is 30. It hurts.
It really does hurt.
It's not as bad as fighters because they lead to a full combo. But yeah.
A crushing blow in Mortal Kombat is almost the equivalent. Because, I mean, you got 3 characters in fighters. You got to remember that. So if someone does a 70% combo from a crushing blow.
For a second, I thought you meant only 3 characters exist, and I thought you were making a tier list joke. Like, remember, there's only 3 characters in fighters. I thought that was your joke. That got me for a split second, because that could have been funny. Like, that's true. You got your Bardock, you got your Kid Buu. I don't know who number 3 is right now. But, yeah.
Good question. Yeah, I don't think anyone does.
I mean, 21 got better. Maybe she can finally get played again.
Season 3 is super balanced. Season 3 has like 3 tiers of characters.
Yeah.
You've got your S ranks, your A ranks, and your B ranks, and that's it. Like,
Yeah, it would have to be because of the assist change. Because that was one of the biggest things holding people back is like, I like this character, but that assist is just ass. I'm never going to be able to use that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Granblue is even worse. Granblue Fantasy versus Netcode is atrocious. It eats your inputs. So that game, it has auto combos with all 3 buttons, with the light, the medium, and heavy. Sometimes I'm doing the auto combo, waiting for the 3rd hit to confirm into a special or a super, and the 3rd hit doesn't come. How? I am just mashing the same button. The first 2 inputs come out. The 3rd one gets eaten. How does that happen?
That's happened to me in fighters before too, but just because I didn't mash for long enough. Like, I swear I pressed light 3 times, and I just don't get the last hit. I'm like, I guess I should have just kept pressing it. I'm a fool. I should have just let it rock.
Mash more.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
What fighting game would you like to see rebooted? Or get a sequel even?
Let me see if this is the name. Yeah. You know the Last Blade? SNK?
SNK,
For the
okay.
Neo Geo? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Last Blade. It's a weapon fighting game. I always thought. Yeah. It was sort of a spiritual successor to Samurai Showdown. And I think they made 2 of them. And
Cool.
I remember really liking that and it having really sort of unique characters. And
Ooh. I'm looking at it.
Yeah, you're looking at it? I think it
Pixels.
looked really cool back on the Neo Geo. I'd
Well,
love to see
pixels
a
are always
follow-up to
sexy. Like, good pixel art is always sexy.
that. Yeah.
Oh, man. Back when you had to manually make hitboxes and hurt boxes. Oh, man.
Something about that game, it just has a charm, and the way the way they animate, they sprite animate swords movement and almost leaving a blur behind it, always looked super impressive to me back at the time.
No, that is cool. No, it still looks good to me even now, but that's SNK, man. Like they had good pixels. Like they really did.
Yeah. I always thought I wanted a new Samurai Showdown. And don't get me wrong, I like playing that game. It is super boring to watch. I don't like watching the new Samurai Showdown.
It's definitely a lot more intense to play, for sure. Because my biggest issue in that game is because I'm just now learning it. Like we're talking like literally last week I started playing it. And my biggest issue is learning like how to anti-air with some characters. I'm like, where's your anti-air button? Like I don't know what it is. Like nothing seems to hit above me. And I have a friend who figured that out. So he just goes attack, attack, jump attack, 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 jump attack. And I'm like, I guess I have to air you because I don't seem to have any anti-airs with the character I like. So
what's the character you like?
See, I don't even know her name, so I feel bad. It's the new one with the big blade and she has the dreadlocks.
Oh. Doesn't she have like a... It's not a 2H motion, but it kind of looks like it.
Well, she has one move where she flies through the air,
behind.
But that one doesn't start up very fast.
Right.
A 2H. Well, she does have a down heavy. You're right, but it's so slow.
Okay.
Like they have time for their jump animation to pretty much complete before you can even. It's got to be a read. You can't like just pop them. And I'm like, I want a move that just says no, just pop and just knocks them out of the air. But that could be an intentional weakness because she seems like stronger in every other regard. So it could be one of her intentional shortcomings that she has bad air control.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
gotta
know.
pick someone with a DP, man. A DP is so powerful in that game.
Oh yeah,
It really is.
that what threw me off the most in that game is that I can block them and you get that animation where their sword is sent like back a little bit where they get knocked back.
Yeah.
And you think that they're punishable, but they can special cancel still. And you're like, oh my god, the DP still came out. Why would you do that to me? And my buddy, he did what I was thinking he would do.
That's really good.
Because the one guy, the main character, has a fake out projectile. I love it.
Right.
He just does nothing and then shoryukens you. And it's like, oh, okay. I see that meta. There used to be a button for that in the old Street Fighter games. I think it was Street Fighter Alpha.
Sorry, I think you cut off.
Oh,
I didn't hear
dang,
the
no.
whole thing.
Well, it's probably for the same reason your camera disappeared.
Oh, am I back?
No, you've been gone for a bit. I didn't know if you knew that I was talking about that when I said you're gone.
No, I didn't know.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I didn't mean the
no.
students. I meant that you actually vanished.
I'll restart it.
Okay. Does mine work?
Am I here?
No, you're just spinning.
And now I stopped listening to you because you turned on your camera.
Ah, I'm back.
Hey, you're back. Hey,
No, you're just spinning.
am I here?
I think your theory earlier
spinning,
about
just spinning.
the servers just being stuffed, like Oreo double stuffed, might be correct.
Too many people on Discord.
Yeah, they just can't handle it.
No.
I can barely handle Discord, honestly. Like, I'm bad at using it.
Okay.
I find it very alien.
That explains the lack of a profile pic.
Yes. Well, that's kind of what I do anyway. Even in Mortal Kombat, I don't do any banner stuff or anything. I didn't do it with fighters either. I just leave it the way it is.
Make a Discord for your students.
Oh, no. I mean, I could. There are some who graduate and they're like, what's your Discord? And I give it to them, but my Discord is dead. There's no one there.
Oh.
That's okay. I don't really push it.
You do have a Patreon and stuff.
I do, but I don't really push that either.
Oh.
Just because the day job. I've thought about it, and I've
patrons. I was like, you have a Patreon, and I went to check it out. 6 patrons. Oh, okay. These guys don't need a Discord server to get in touch.
No, I don't. I don't do that. They can just join the Discord server. Because I don't offer anything on the Discord server really.
I turned off the camera. Is that a problem?
It's not a problem. I just got to resize my boy. If we do that, I got to resize my OBS because remember I did the webcam on top. So, what is your least favorite matchup in Dragon Ball Fighters? Since you mentioned that as your main.
As a Kid Buu main, I hate fighting against Kid Buus.
There you go.
Is that hypocrite of me?
No, I mean some characters counter themselves the best.
Yeah. Kid Boo's a counter to everyone, and he's a mix-up machine. And if he gets in, it's a nightmare. Online, I do hate playing against Vegetos a lot.
Yeah, luckily,
it feels
yeah.
feels like the lag is always on their side.
But not Gogeta, huh? He's not that good?
Gogeta, not that bad. Not as bad as Vegito online, I would say. They're saying that Gogeta is actually one of the worst characters to come out of Season 3.
That's what I've heard.
After the patch changes. Yeah.
He is the Jiren.
I don't really see it yet, but I trust the opinions of the pros.
See, he'd be top tier against me, though, because I don't know what he can do. So he'd be my worst matchup.
He's got a DP. His beams are normals. They're not specials.
Oh.
If he throws a special, he throws 3 beams at the same time. And if he hits you with any of those beams, he teleports and dive kicks you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, yeah. What else does he got? He's got a Rekka with his legs, too. He can get sliding knockdowns in the air. And
thought that was cool.
A ton of damage. Oh, also command grab.
Sweet.
Also, seven supers, I think. I think he's got like 7 supers.
Yeah, but most characters only have like the 2 good ones. So I mean, if he only has like the 2 good ones, then it's fine. Kefla was a lot of fun though. I was labbing Kefla, and I'm like, I like how this character is straightforward, but has certain things that are unique about her. That's cool.
Yeah, the being too fast for her own good. I think they capture that gimmick perfectly. How she goes past you and just stops. She's strong.
I wasn't even having to use that. I was playing with friends, and like she has that ridiculous cross-up nonsense, but I was winning with very straightforward play because she still has the 50-50 like in her strings. She has the overhead she can do mid-string, which still launches.
Right.
She has the low with that special move where she flies and like punches the ground. She can just eat projectiles with that spinning disc and fly at you. Like she has a lot of straightforward stuff. It's also very decent. Also Piccolo pressure
for sure. Yeah.
Has like a Hellzone
and against
grenade.
beginners, you really and against beginners you really can't get too tricky because a lot of the tricky stuff isn't true.
The double cross up doesn't work on them.
Yeah, exactly. If they just mash it out, if they're blocking and mashing that button to get a punch as soon as they can, they might catch you. So sometimes you got to keep it simple.
For sure. Who do you think is the most underrated character that you think could actually work in that game?
Could actually work. Majin Buu. I think there are like a couple of people that really try him, that really lab him, a couple of pros, but he's too complicated for the mainstream.
Yeah, I know a player who used him, but I forgot his name. He had Majin Buu and Kid Gohan.
Alyun, maybe?
Well, I don't think he went to majors. He went to like locals, but he'd still like win in like a lot of his locals with I think he might have also had Nappa on his team.
Huh.
Like he had only characters that were considered like low tier, which was cool.
Yeah. I'd say that's the most underrated, probably.
Yeah, Majin Buu has like legitimate 50-50s. Yeah.
He's still too hard for me too. I don't know how to play Majin Buu, so I'm not a part of those players who will pick him up and raise him to his true glorious status.
I appreciate his cool goo setups where he puts you in a little fat roll and then does like a little air clap above your head and then comes down and does something. That's really cool.
That's a big part. Yeah, that's a big part of why I think that character is really strong. For sure. Yeah.
But does he live and die by the mix-up, like some characters do? That's the question. Well, there's Vanish, so I guess he can always be somewhat safe.
You gotta have good mix-up to be a good character, I think. In Dragon Ball Fighters, you can't have a good point character without having good mix-up. Your point character needs to be able to do the most BS mix-ups, impossible to see stuff, while you have 2 assists. And then once you lose your first character, your mid and your anchor characters, they can start to play it a bit more safe. There are some characters that are good at playing it safe, some better than others, obviously, and they can sort of dispense of that insane mix-up. But your first character, while you have 2 assists, you definitely want to have someone super strong. And the mix-up with Majin Buu is slightly different than usual, where if you catch them in the goo, they're in for a 50-50 like most people. But while they are just blocking, a lot of Majin Buu's mix-up is catching players pressing a button. Is spacing them out, getting in and out, and stagger, and a lot of that. But Dragon Ball Fighters also has like plenty of mix-up options as universal mechanics. You got a universal, everyone has a low. You got a universal overhead. You have a Dragon Rush, which is that game's grab. Now you have tick throws, so you can just throw a light attack into Dragon Rush. And pretty much everyone can cross up with an assist. So a lot of stuff is just in the.
Everybody was scared about that when they saw, like, what? You're telling me I have to look out for that mix? Like, that's going to hit me all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not as scary as I thought, though some characters are really tricky. Adult Gohan, we were talking about earlier, his light attack is 2 hits. So by the time he hits you the second time, you're already not expecting the Dragon Rush. Like, you need to actively think, I'm fighting Gohan, and his light attack is 2 hits. So 1, 2, Dragon Rush.
His standing
yes,
low.
No? Okay. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
His little standing low. Yeah.
Lag and then D-arm.
I can't believe they did that to some. Oh, it's such a dirty animation trick. Like, oh yeah, also here's his standing light. It's low.
Vegeta looked scary too because his light is the flurry kick. So it looked like he could stagger, throw. But because that kick is super long, I think it gives you time to think about it and react to a Dragon Rush.
I was just so stoked that he had reverse beat. I thought that was so cool that he could do some of that.
Yeah, I don't think reverse beat is that big of a deal in fighters.
I just thought it was a cool feature though. You're right. It's not like super big. It just meant like slightly optimal damage when he could like start with different moves. Because what is it, like lights?
That is something to look out with Vegito because you can only take throw after a 5L. So with reverse beat, if you start a block string with a 2M, you can go back to the 5L anytime you want.
And it still would be a tick throw, huh?
It will come later in the block string.
Okay.
Though after you see that flurry of kicks, it's like it gives you enough time to think about that.
And technically adult Gohan also, but no one gets to level 7, right? So.
Right. Yeah, it's very rare.
They never gave him that buff people wanted. Yeah.
That is scary though. Wow. It just hit me that he could tick throw you with.
He could reverse beat. Yeah. But like they never gave you the reward for charging like the potential unleashed. Because like if it like did more damage when you held it down or something, like a lot more, then it would kind of be worth it. But yeah, like Ginyu.
No, the reward is in being in level 7, I guess, or where your entire damage is buffed. But getting there, spending 7 bars, like that's not 7 bars of damage that you're doing.
Here's a question for you then. So as someone who's a seasoned veteran and online warrior of Dragon Ball Fighters, if you could change one thing, you have the Infinity Gauntlet, you can Thanos snap something in or out. What's a change you would like to bring to Dragon Ball Fighters that you think it would benefit from? What's like the biggest change that you'd like to make?
Good netcode.
Good netcode.
Yeah.
But what about the game itself, though? Like, imagine the netcode's already perfect.
Okay. Imagining the netcode's already perfect. Can I only choose one thing?
Well, I mean, you're probably better off just going for a universal thing. Like, not trying to nerf or buff a character, but like some universal change.
Yeah, I have some universal changes. I would increase the startup of a super dash, making it easier to punish. Okay. I would make 2H an anti-air that activates faster because sometimes you press the button and you still get hit by a super dash.
Okay, good choice.
Though maybe that won't be necessary if we already have good netcode.
And the slower super dash, yeah.
I would also do a BB tag in auto combos where if you mash the light attack button and you whiff it, the auto combo doesn't come off. It's just a light attack over.
These are all good ideas so far. I agree with all of them.
Yeah. But if you don't want to go that far, at least don't have the auto combo auto turn the character. Keep it moving forward. Just keep it moving
Forgot
forward.
about that.
Yeah.
Just turns
like,
around.
Sometimes they just auto turn on every hit. And that's a nightmare. So there you go. That's a lot of changes. But I think that would make it a better game. Though we also can't forget, Dragon Ball Fighters is responsible for bringing a lot of new players into the fighting game community. So you have to keep that beginner-friendly vibe to it. If you take that away, Dragon Ball Fighters isn't Dragon Ball Fighters anymore. So you have to keep the super dashes. You have to keep the auto combos. You have to keep all of that. Though these changes that I mentioned, I think they just changed the game for the better. And
I think so too.
Yeah, and I think it would force players to learn the game a bit faster too. It's not like they can still just pick it up and mash out a combo. That still works, but if you're whiffing, they'll see, oh, I'm whiffing. I'm hitting the air so the combo doesn't come off. That's why.
It would also make reflect better too, because like some people, when you reflect them, their auto combo still catches you. So yeah, that was always an issue, right?
Yeah.
So
No, I'm okay with that. I'm a kid boo. I'm okay with that happening.
I was thinking of actually Cell or Trunks like had that where they just zipped across the screen and got you anyway.
Yeah, the second hit of their auto combo travels a lot. For Kid Buu, I think if you have Kid Buu in the corner, you have to reflect them like 4 times. If I do the full string, yeah. And if I just stop, whiff punish.
What if they added like a super reflect? It costs like half a bar, and instead of like just pushing them back, it actually put them in a slide knockdown state and send them flying away.
Wow.
Like
you have guard cancels that kind of do
you're right,
that,
where the person flies in, but they can get hit though.
How long since you played?
Oh, probably an eternity now. But I guess it has to be a 2H, huh? Does anything else like not hit them?
Yeah, time stops when you guard cancel. So unless they read your guard cancel, they can't punish it. So the options for punishing a guard cancel are 2H, though the 2H has to be almost buffered. Like if you have any other inputs buffered, you can't 2H anymore. The other inputs will come out because time stops. And if you block it, then the opponent will land and it's super unsafe. So those are the 2 ways you can punish a guard cancel. But for something that powerful, I think, yeah, you kind of have to. You kind of have to make it dangerous.
And that still costs 1 bar, right? They didn't have that or anything. Yeah. That was a crazy change. When I saw that update, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, it made sense at first. Like, okay, so those aren't supers. They're just EX moves. So, or just heavies. So they should only be, like, not as big as a super. But then I thought of Yamcha, and I'm like, wait a minute.
What's neutral anymore?
Just
yeah, a lot of characters
benefited
benefited from that.
Yeah.
Frieza was the big one. Frieza benefited immensely from that. He's just the zoning master now.
Yep. Which I think he was always meant to be. Like, I think he was meant to be a zoner. Yeah. I liked Frieza just because no one really played Frieza when I first started. So
yeah, a lot more popular now for sure. I'm out of focus again. Cap over here.
Well, you're not using the camera anyway.
Work with me. Oh,
the camera's not working anyway.
Oh, why is this on then?
Yeah, it's just been you spinning, like the little 2 dots this whole time.
Funny, because that's also what I'm doing in my chair.
Oh. What's the term for that?
A spinning
Art
chair.
imitates reality? Yeah, okay. Well, that was good. Those are all really good changes, though. I think you didn't do anything that was like ridiculous. Those are all the changes that I think are on the tips of everyone's tongue. They're like, like the game's great, but this thing, and maybe this thing, and maybe that thing. Like, for me, I think one of the ones that a lot of people want is just like the crushing blows could have their damage reduced a little bit. Because 30% for a single counter hit when it's not even a combo feels a bit unearned. Because it's like
I think if you have the read, you deserve it. Though,
but what if it's also your fastest move?
Yeah, that feels unfair.
Because some characters, it's just their fastest move, and it's also their their counter hit one. So it's not even a whiff punish. It's just you both press a button, and then they hit. But yeah, no, you're right. If they had designed it that way to where like that was only done to the further reaching attacks, then I'd agree. Yeah.
Right.
And then
or
some
it's a
of them,
crushing blow that deals that damage but doesn't launch into a combo. That'd be fair, I guess.
Well, those are the strong ones. Yeah, like the ones that don't combo are the best ones because there's no escape and they always do more damage.
Right.
It's actually the characters who don't have those that are at a loss, like Frost. You pretty much never see her crushing blows except for the throw because they lead to combos and the opponent just goes boop and just drops out. So it's pretty much a waste. That's like one change. People are like, oh, the fatal blows or crushing blows could be a bit. And it's funny too because I noticed it on Twitter now because a lot of the pro players aren't able to do their meetups like normal. They're playing online instead. And now for them, a lot of the issues are becoming more apparent too. So they're now complaining about stuff. Like you now have top level players like, I think this should change. Or I think that should change. And that's funny.
Yeah, welcome to online life. I don't really like the breakaway mechanic.
No one does. Like, it was a fun idea to try, and I appreciate them trying something different. I really do. Like, NetherRealm did a cool thing, trying something new. But yeah, everyone pretty much doesn't like getting punished for landing a hit.
Right.
or they don't like having to make the
especially
read.
some characters that especially some characters that are actually still unsafe after the breakaway. That's too much.
Yeah,
Like, just
and I was
having to
thinking
make
too.
the read already on
Some characters
on
can't even
whether or not
reach.
he's gonna-
Also, like because usually the read is supposed to be if you do a combo and the opponent does breakaway and you know they're going to, you just dash forward an uppercut. But some
Right.
characters have a crappy uppercut combined with the opponent being launched too far away. So it's literally a free escape for the opponent. You can't even get your uppercut. And you're like,
Right.
oh, I get nothing. Yeah, like the combo
who
breaker
would
was
you
never
say
a
is
problem.
winning?
They could have kept that the same. Or just knocks them back and you're free. I think it would have been
Right.
fine. I guess the only benefit to
Yeah.
breakaway is that you don't lose corner advantage. Whereas I guess before you used to.
And do like one per fight. Don't,
Yeah, I mean
don't
that'd
make
be
it a
cool too.
meter
Like
thing.
Injustice.
Yeah, exactly. Like Injustice. Who would you say is your main?
For Mortal Kombat 11,
Yeah.
I don't know if I really have one, but I saw you do the dark arts. You and your
I
evil
do.
magic, the 50-50 monster Sub-Zero.
That is true.
Yes, he's
It doesn't
very
feel
evil.
as much as a 50-50 monster. Like Sonic Fox got in my head, man. Months ago, he was like, I can react to all of this. God damn it. God damn it. The one thing I had going for me. He got in
Fought
my
him?
head.
You actually
Of
got to
course,
fight
I'm not-
Sonic Fox, or
No. He just posted some videos on Twitter. It's got in my head like that.
oh, that's funny.
Then I
because
did
recently he said the
play-
opposite. But yeah, go ahead.
Ooh, then I did play some top player here in Portugal,
Nice.
and it was blocking everything. And then I
Oh.
figured it out. He's like, oh, he's fuzzy guarding. He's just
Yes.
fuzzy guarding, and he can do that. So if I delay my lows, I can get him, and then he's back on guessing.
Yep.
But like, yeah, at that point it was like 0-10, so it didn't feel like much of a victory. You know.
So does that mean you rock variation 1 typically?
back then I was a variation 1 guy. Now I'm Avalanche.
Ah, yes. Yes, indeed. That's fun though, because that requires more work. It has like the fun setups and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you have the
Really
little,
love
little
the
fake
setups of
clone. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the little orb.
Exactly.
That was funny. Everyone's like,
and,
no
and
clone,
make everything,
and then
and you make everything safe with the icicle from the ground.
Mhm.
Make everything.
yeah,
safe.
people were telling me some tech of how to avoid that. I'll have to test it. Like there were some tricks to avoid that thing entirely, but I'll need to actually
you
look
still
up.
have to make the read. You still
Yeah.
have to make the read of whether or not that thing is going to be meter burned or not. So it's not. It's not easy.
Yeah, for sure. They still didn't give Sub-Zero his best move in any of his variations, in my opinion, which is his like rising ice move, where he leaps into the
Right.
air and launches you with him.
Yeah,
That's a
a
cool
launcher that doesn't nerf your damage like the ice ball.
And it's also safe. Yeah. According to the
If
frame
that
data,
thing
at
gets
least.
added, it's gonna get nerfed just like the orb from Avalanche.
Well, I was thinking also,
The
yeah,
arm
I was
from
kind of
Avalanche was
mad about the
ridiculous.
nerf they gave that. The fact that you can't throw somebody into it is kind of ridiculous.
Right.
I think you should be able to, because
And
that was all
didn't
the
they-
fun.
They increased the startup on that too, right?
Maybe so. I never used it, but I thought you were going to say Scarlet, because they gave Scarlet Variation 3, which everyone was excited about, only they nerfed the best thing about it, so it became like a useless variation. And they're like, oh. So,
Until someone picks her up.
yeah. Well, Scarlet has the same problem that Shao Kahn has and a couple other characters. She has gaps in her best strings. So, like, her go-to move, you can flawless block. So, at high level, she just can't do her number one move.
Yeah.
She'd have to, like, fake you out constantly.
I still don't flawless block ever.
Yeah, well, it's funny
Number
you
of
said that
intentional
Sonic Fox, though,
flawless
because I watched a stream where he did the opposite. He said, like, because he can probably block it offline. And I think a lot of people can block Sub-Zero offline. But with the latency, it's an entirely different ballpark. Because online, he said,
yeah.
oh, I will rage quit on every Sub-Zero I fight.
Yeah.
That's what
He
Sonic
did
Fox said. Like, no, I won't
he
fight
did
you
say
if you
that
pick
on
Sub-Zero.
that guy. He did say that online he was a god. That said, this was a time where I was going to tournaments and
Yeah.
and actually getting good results, qualifying and getting prizes and stuff. I got some of them behind me. on
I'd
the
say that
camera
I'm the
is
most comfortable
spinning.
with Frost because you asked me about like my main. I think I'm the most
Okay.
comfortable with her. But if I had
All right,
to like,
welcome to 10 minutes ago. That's cool.
well, I mean, I didn't want to interrupt you right away. So,
So you did it later.
well, I'm trying not to, but there's like delay, I'm sure. So I'm sure by the time I start talking, it's in the middle of your sentence.
Yeah. No, I understand.
I don't mean to. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be a good host. But yeah, I think if a gun was pointed to my head, I'd try Jackie also. But she has so many like tough matchups with zoning for me because I have a tough time dealing with zoning. So,
right. Yeah, that's exactly where I went after Sub-Zero wasn't super efficient in local tournaments. I turned to Jackie, and I could play her, but it felt like punishing the most basic stuff where, okay, this player is mashing a lot, so with Sub-Zero, I can just down one him and go for a mix because he can do that. With Jackie, it felt like my mix-up was a bit more advanced, where you're either canceling. It was the first variation, I believe.
Yeah.
1 round KO, I think. Where you're either canceling her move and resetting her string, or canceling into a grab. But if players are mashing on block, that never works.
Yeah.
So really I had a lot more trouble. Yeah, I had a lot more trouble with Jackie, even in tournaments. And
did you try Variation 3?
That kind of hurts. No. By the time Variation 3 came out, I had sort of given up on Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Because I was really... I think Mortal Kombat gave me the most intense experience and most unpleasant experience in a tournament. Where
at the tournament. Oh, okay.
I completely forgot how to hold the controller mid-match.
Dang.
Just, the most surreal experience.
So much tilt.
I am trying to do a back 1-4-2, for instance, or whatever. And instead of hitting square or triangle, I'm hitting the space between both.
Oh, no.
And just starting to shake, having like an anxiety attack and all that. And I never have those. So that was the most surreal experience to me. So I dropped Mortal Kombat for a while. And now I play it a bit more casually. There haven't been any.
Do you know what character that was that caused that? Who you were fighting against?
I fought against a Jade. And who else? I fought against a Jade, and I got knocked out by a Sonya, I think.
Oh yeah, and she was infamous for a while.
During those 2 matches, I was doing bad.
She's ridiculous. Yeah, like Sonya is still good. But she's just not ridiculous like she used to be.
Right.
For me, I get the shaky hands always. So you're doing better than me. Because I always get nervous. But like the longer the tournament goes on,
tournaments is one thing. Getting nervous in tournaments is one thing, but like forgetting how to hold a controller was ridiculous.
Man,
that had never happened to me. It never happened since.
That's crazy.
Surreal experience. Yeah, surreal. Yeah.
Ooh. That is crazy. No, it's funny. Like on Twitter, you just caught me off guard when you were like, "I'm the best Sub-Zero," and I'm like, "Do you know what you've done? That's like admitting to playing Blanca. People don't shake your hand."
That's fine. I'm okay with it. I was a Sub-Zero main day one. So
I do think Sub-Zero's cool. Like as a character, no pun intended. He's my favorite character in the MK lore. Yeah. And I was super excited to play him at the reveal event. I thought he was fun, but he was definitely entirely different than he was in X or 9. So I was like, okay, definitely have to like relearn him all over again.
Yeah. He's usually my go-to in any Mortal Kombat. I did main Devora in X. Though she's a bit too technical in this one for me.
Yeah, she's not just technical. She is like, she's the opposite of a scrub killer. Like she loses harder to mashers. Like, but a skilled opponent, she can actually hold her own. But like if you're fighting the usual online guy who just mashes uppercut, and you're like, why would you mash uppercut when I'm a jumping distance away? But it got me because I was doing her forward too. But I didn't think you would do that. You know, and you're just like, what? Why? So she's one of those characters. She's the anti-scrub killer, but against people who know what they're doing, she's pretty fun. Anyone who respects you, she's fun.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, you have like Jackie, I would say, as a scrub killer.
Right. So yeah, I went the Sub-Zero route.
He's also
really
a scrub
like him.
killer.
Like I think you see a lot of people in Combat League playing Sub-Zero. But whenever I host tournaments on the Discord server, I'm the only Sub-Zero player. So it's like, okay, this is my guy. Like I feel good playing him because no one else is doing it. Not in my local scene, not not here in on my Discord, and of course I recognize a lot of people are doing it in Combat League, but in my own little world, I feel like I'm sort of unique. So I'm okay with that.
Do you post those tournaments on like Twitch or anything?
Haven't done one in a while, but yes.
I'll have to
they
watch
are
those for
usually
fun sometime.
archived
That's
on
cool that you
Twitch.
compete in your own tournaments. That's really dope. That's fun.
We have a league that goes on for like 6 months. The top 3 in the finals for Mortal Kombat got $90 total.
Oh,
So that was $90 distributed among the top 3
Sweet.
last year.
okay.
We got cash.
That's
It's
fun.
not nothing. I'll post the link to
It's for the honor
the
too.
VOD of that.
It's like, yes, I am the best.
no, I
that's
didn't
cool.
win that. I did
Yeah,
not
Frosty
win.
definitely started off being terrible, and then she got better and better, and now she's fine. I don't think there's any reason to not play Frost. Like, she's still fun. I still haven't learned her. I haven't
don't like
mastered the
Frost.
ancient art of her down 3.
Yeah. I don't like Frost lore wise, so it really deters me from
You
playing
don't find her adorable? To me, she's like the
Such
little
a
kid always
dumbass.
throwing a tantrum, but she sucks at everything.
it. Such a dumbass. God.
That's why it's funny to me.
Shut up. Just shut up. Stay in your corner. Listen to your elders.
Now do I have your attention, Raiden? Gets pimp slapped. Just goes down. To me, she's like Vegeta, but she never got better. She just stayed Vegeta.
Yeah, okay. I can see that.
I mean, like, I definitely would have written the story mode differently. Like, if you want her to be the big bad, you can't have her lose right away. You definitely can't have her get frozen immediately when her whole power is ice. Like, you can't let these things happen. But same with Shao
such a
Kahn.
throwaway character. Such a throwaway character in that story mode.
All the people that were looked forward to were like throwaway characters. Even Shao Kahn is just dusted over and over again in story
Shao
mode.
Kahn, yeah, but Shao Kahn had an interesting arc. Like coming back, he dethroned Kotal Khan.
He
assembled
kind of
his-
did, I guess. Jade did.
So?
Because he lost to
The power-
Kotal Khan in an original fight. Yeah.
Yeah, but the power of Shao Kahn is also his minions, his loyal army.
I
His
miss
loyal
back when
subject.
Shao Kahn just looking at you was the scariest thing possible in Mortal Kombat. Like, where if you just looked over and saw him staring at you from his chair, it's like, oh god, it's Shao Kahn. Yeah.
Yelling, finish him.
Well, I mean, the guy straight up, like in MK9, just snapped Kung Lao's neck because he felt like it. And he's like, what are you going to do? You going to fight me, nerd? Wasn't scared of anybody.
MK9's Shao Kahn is scary. Not for the character itself, but that boss fight. I bet
Yeah.
that has scarred a lot of people's memories.
He still makes me nervous. Like, I did those for fun videos where I would just compare like MK9 to, later games, which they're almost always better in MK9 because everyone in that game was busted in some regard. Everyone had something broken about them. But then you have to fight Shao Kahn, and you remember like, man, this is why it's not fun to fight bosses in Mortal Kombat games, because like a boss should be training all of your skills, but they're not. You have to play them entirely different. Like, you fight Shao Kahn a specific way. You can't fight him like he's a buffed up Baraka or something. Like, he's just
And
ridiculous.
He kills you in 3 hits.
Yeah. That X-ray put the fear of God in me when I was a kid. Because he just flies at you with it, and then 75%. And you're like, why? I was winning. And then I lost. Yep.
Because I'm the final boss.
I am the final
know-
boss.
It worked. Here we are talking about it years later.
Whereas Chronica is going to be forgotten about in just like a couple of years.
Who?
Exactly. The only thing cool about Chronica is she threw a dinosaur at me. So that was cool.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
So,
It's not even a playable character. Like,
no, I didn't think she would be, just because NetherRealm likes that. They like doing you not playing the boss characters.
right.
So I just kind of expected it.
But it's weird. It's like they built an actual moveset for a character that will never be played. Because she doesn't just have a boss moveset. You could see some of those abilities be part of a normal fighter.
So she could have been like Seth, you're saying, where like there's a boss version and a playable version.
Oh, I think easily, yeah.
Yeah, that could have been fun. That could work. And actually, believe it or not, the AI is actually going easy on you in those games, because if you take control of the character, they have infinites. but the AI is like told not to do it. Like Shao Kahn in MK9 just has a straight up infinite, but he has like a limit coded in or something because he never does it. And it's legit just his rising tackle over and over again where he shoulder charges upward. In the corner, he can just do that forever.
Wow, thank you, Shao Kahn, for your kindness.
He's going easy. He has to give you a chance. I'm still mad that they didn't make like one nice buff for Shao Kahn would be if his taunts were just faster. Because that's such a cool feature to be able to just roast the opponent mid-fight with Shao Kahn, but no one plays that variation because it's like legit a full second of startup. So,
yeah.
They're just going to get up and hit you. But that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, I guess. Well, unless you're putting the fear of the zoning in them.
Shao Kahn zoning? I don't know.
Right.
I don't think he really has that. Yeah, I mean, I've missed that spear up close.
Someone will sit down. Yeah, that's the only time someone will sit down at full screen is if you put the fear of zoning in them.
And we're talking Netherrealm zoning. We're talking the unfair kind of zoning where you don't even offer up your own hitbox. You're just throwing stuff. Where
exactly.
It ain't Dawson where you have stretchy limbs and you can pop him if you time it correctly. We're talking, no, I'm going to just throw stuff. And not only that, but I'll recover so fast that your teleport can't even punish me. Watch, exactly. I'm going to throw it and then block immediately. It blows my mind. Like the Netherrealm's getting better. Like with every single game, they're getting better. But they still have some ridiculous things where you're like, man, how does someone deal with that?
Right.
And I've even heard pro players go,
what do you think their next game is?
Yeah. Injustice 3, maybe?
Their next game is? Right. That's the obvious answer. Do you think it's also an evolution of 1 and 2? Or is it a completely different thing? Because I feel like NetherRealm works in trilogies.
I mean, it would be cool if they kept it the same because I was so caught off guard that Injustice 2 was so similar to Injustice 1, and I thought that was kind of interesting. They did that for once because they always usually change it. So if they tried to keep it similar, that would be cool. I mean, some characters got reworks, like Bane and Flash were pretty different in Injustice 2, but still had some of the tried and true strings and all that. So they felt familiar. I mean, I would keep it the same because I feel like that just makes it easier to balance too, because then you can just make tweaks and all that. But also, I mean, Ed Boon himself, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, I just feel like, especially with Mortal Kombat, you see 3 games within the same style, just like we just saw 9, X, and 11. And then they go for something completely different. Last time they went for 3D.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going to happen for Mortal Kombat 12, but I don't think it will be the same.
A lot of people were saying a prequel.
Past few years, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be down.
And like they left the story. They left the story at a place where they can go anywhere with it, so they're not really tied by any lore or anything like that. You can really just it's a weapon fight. I don't know.
I mean, that'd be fine. They did 3D for a while, and I love 3D fighting games just because not as much jumping. So like, I do like my 3D fighting games. So that'd be fine. I think a prequel sounds really dope, and tell me it's not really cool to just the idea of a god Liu Kang training young Raiden. That's such a fun idea.
Yeah, that's fun.
Got a little teenage angst Raiden. Can't tell me what to do, Mr. Kang.
But then you gotta work Sub-Zero and Scorpion into it somehow because they're the face of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Well, with the prequel, people were saying that's what they could do because, like, if it's a prequel and it's like a really old prequel, like the Great Kung Lao era, you could have cryomancers that are actually like the ancestors of Sub-Zero.
Right.
And that could be really cool.
You can have the original Sub-Zero and just not have Noob Saibot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're talking like really far back though. Like I don't know when when the Great Kung Lao died, but they're talking like all the way back then.
Wow. Is that like? That is Kung Lao's what? It wasn't.
It's like a reincarnation now. They're saying, but originally it was just a name. Like originally he was just named after the Great Kung Lao.
Right.
And then one of the retcons recently was like, oh, he's like either a descendant or just a reincarnation.
Right.
Because they love that spiritual stuff.
They sure do.
You could still have Katana.
Made up a whole thing for Johnny Cage's powers.
I'm okay with it because that's such an impressive transformation of a character. Because I remember when I was a kid, Johnny Cage was one of the lamest characters to me. Like in the 3D era, it was like, why would I pick Johnny Cage? Like that's dumb. And then like, the reboot comes out with MK9, and it's like Johnny Cage is cool now. Like he's funny. He may get his butt kicked, but I still enjoy him as a character. And then in X, it's like, hey, you ready for this? He's the hero. What? Yeah.
Wow.
He's Liu Kang. But you weren't
The
expecting
opposite
that.
happened to me with God damn it, what's his name? Black dude, Metal Arms.
Jax. Yeah.
Yeah, Jax. The exact opposite to me happened with Jax, where he was my favorite character in the old games. Like I can punch people really hard,
Yeah.
And now I look at him and it's like, this is a game with dragons and people throwing ice, and this is just a dude with metal arms. That's lame. The exact opposite happened.
They would have had to give him something extra. Like maybe he tripped and fell into like the what did they call that? The Jinsei. Oh, snap! And he just like falls in. And then he gets all juiced.
And I actually really like the gimmick of himself pumping himself up, and you see the arms glowing red with heat. That looks really neat. And the character's moveset isn't bad at all, but I can't play Jax. It's just a dude with metal arms. I've got so many cool characters at my disposal.
That's what makes Jackie even worse, though. Because I was thinking about it, like, as I was trying to bring up, people were talking about, like, why is it that Jackie is probably, like, the least favorite of the Kombat kids? And I was like, well, I think it's because a lot of them, they went off in their own kind of thing. Like, Cassie at least gets to be the star child of two fan favorites, and she gets to borrow gimmicks from both. So that's cool. And then Takeda is really cool because he's raised by Scorpion, but has telekinesis like Kenshi. Like, that's really cool. And Jackie's like, I'm Jax. That's it. I'm literally Jax. Oh, but I use machine guns from my wrist. So I'm a bit less cool. Yeah. And she doesn't have that domination factor that, well, she does gameplay wise, like at like competitive. But I mean, like Jax literally picks you up by your throat and punches your face as he walks you towards the corner. Whereas Jackie just punches you. Like flying punch.
Right.
So that's what I meant, like by the main like control factor. Like I'm holding you by the throat literally and walking with you while I punch you. It gives like a picture in the mind of how tough he is, where Jackie doesn't have that. She's just doing fun stuff, but she's not commanding strength. I like her though. They gave her a glow up. She went from like the most hated character because she had cheesy zoning and ridiculously stupid easy keep away, to being hated for being cheesy rushdown. So they flipped her. Like completely flipped her.
Is it the third variation where she can stay in the air for a really long time?
Yeah, she like quite literally becomes Sea Viper in Street Fighter 4 because she super jump cancels and then cancels her super jump with a special move, and that's her bread and butter.
I think that's NetherRealm thinking, what if we do Mortal Kombat, but with instant air dashes? That's their first attempt. Let's make Mortal Kombat more anime.
She does feel like MKX, which is why I like her, because you're just constantly bullying the opponent. But now they gave a weird nerf where she loses her meter for no reason. So it was like the strangest nerf. Basically, if you do the far or short version of her super jump, it costs you defensive bar. And I get the idea behind that. But sometimes, just because you're fast about doing your quarter circle back, it counts as you doing the close version, even though you didn't do that. So I'll do the super jump and then do her gunshot down. Like the combo worked. So I'm doing it correctly. If I did it any later, the combo would have whiffed. But the game read that quarter circle back as me holding back during the super jump, despite pressing the super jump a year earlier.
Waiting to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. There's probably some special timing where it doesn't happen, but it still makes me salty when I land the combo and like mid combo I glance over at my meter. I'm like, yep, lost it. I lost my breakaway for no reason. I didn't do anything illegal, didn't break the law, but I'm being punished. It's my punishment for playing Jackie. That's all it is. It's just the punishment.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Okay. So let me like end it off with one big final question. So I want you to rank your favorite anime fighters. What are the top 5? In terms of enjoyability, whatever system you deem fit.
2D, 3D, what are we talking?
Doesn't matter. Just has to be an anime fighter.
Anime fighter. Okay. God, I'm gonna leave some of them out, aren't I? Let's just list them for starters.
Sure.
We have Dragon Ball Fighters.
Hmm.
Type that in. We have BB Tag. We have Granblue Fantasy Versus now. That counts, right? Yeah.
Sure. I'll see
We
why not.
have Guilty Gear. Let's say the best one is Exarch 2. Then we have on 3D, we have Naruto Storm 4 is a good contender. Kill la Kill. If My Hero One's Justice 2 is better than the first one. Okay.
It's a good lineup so far.
Probably missing a bunch.
How could you forget Smash? No, I'm kidding.
Not anime.
The ultimate anime. What do you mean? You got your Zelda, got your Elf Boy. Well, he's Link, but you know what I mean. And you got your Mario. Mario's my favorite anime.
That is true. Also, Cloud is there. He's very anime.
Oh yeah, I think you're the one who posted that clip of like you barely bumping into something and it just ends your stealth mission. Like right at the start.
That's me yesterday. Yeah.
Why did they put that there?
Yeah, and the character model obscures it.
Yeah, you couldn't even see it. It's like literally meant to hit you.
So intentional.
I love it.
So
What are you
intentional.
doing?
But after you fail twice, they remove the buckets. We know you suck. Okay.
It'd be great if, as you keep failing, they just keep removing different items from the stealth mission.
Right. Okay. Of these games, I'm gonna cut what? I'm gonna cut Storm. I might cut Guilty Gear. I didn't get too much into
Well, you're
that.
allowed
Okay,
5.
at the number 5, I'm gonna say My Hero One's Justice 2. Yeah, solid arena fighter, really giving arena fighters the reputation they deserve. Saying, hey, arena fighters can be competitive, really unique characters. Each one has their different moveset. It could be an actual competitive game. Unfortunately, it has no real ranked mode.
Okay.
Because it's all just a grind. Win or lose, you get points. So it's just a leaderboard for time spent playing, and that kind of demotivates me from grinding the online, because getting a high ranked player or a low ranked player means nothing.
They could definitely add a D rank for the top spots. I think it'd be healthy.
Yeah. Now that's, I believe, how Kill la Kill does it. Kill la Kill starts you with just getting points, and then once you get a good number of points, it starts subtracting them. Which is... Oh, I think Jump Force also does it. Doesn't make it a good game, though. Let's say at number 4, I'm going to say Granblue Fantasy Versus. Really solid game, solid mechanics, really having a lot of fun with it. Netcode sucks.
Yeah.
Get a better netcode. Is what I would say.
That's the typical problem for a lot of Japanese games.
Yeah. Kill la Kill If is going to be next. Also an arena fighter. Can
that's
also
shocking.
be competitive. Okay. Why? You expected it higher or not even on the list?
I didn't know. I hadn't heard too much about it. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't recommend anyone get it now because it's sort of dead. If you want to play it, like there's no one playing online. But the game was good. Solid netcode, good ranked system.
That's good.
Maybe a bit lower on the roster count. It launched with 10 characters. It has 12 now.
Okay.
And the DLC was free.
Kind of like Killer Instinct. It has a small roster, but they're all good. Okay. Well, you can get 5 friends to buy it with you, and then you have someone to play with.
That is true. It should be pretty cheap nowadays. Let's see. God, it's between these two now. I don't know where to put BB Tag and Dragon Ball Fighters, but they're the... Oh, God.
It is your
BB
choice.
Tag has a solid... Yeah, BB Tag has a solid netcode. Dragon Ball Fighters doesn't. Dragon Ball Fighters... I like the game better, but I hate the online. On the other hand, I can't really play the online in BB Tag because there's no one playing it most of the time. And story mode single player sucks for both of these. God. I'm going to say BB Tag number 2. Dragon Ball Fighters number 1, because Dragon Ball Fighters locally is one of my favorite experiences ever as far as video games go. Yeah. I really love playing that game locally. I can play for hours on end. And
That's good.
if I have a local partner, just rematching him or switching players. Locally, this game is a joy. And you get in a zone where you can see the matrix. I really, really love it.
That's how I feel about Tekken and Soul Calibur with sidestepping. It's like, haha, I read all of your attacks. I am now sidestepping. I'm ducking everything. Like, that's fun.
Now, what anime fighter did I forget?
You're not asking the best person because I don't know. Guilty Gear wasn't there after all.
No, I took it off.
Yeah. So
netcode pretty much as bad as Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. No one or not a lot of people online nowadays either.
Okay.
And yeah, I think Guilty Gear didn't need to be that complicated to be a good fighting game.
Mm.
There are systems there. There are sort of legacy systems from the old days, and didn't need to be there.
I mean, I guess someone in the comments might say you forgot Persona, but that's kind of added with BB Tag.
It's BB Tag, yeah, sure. Yeah, it would be sure. You can put Persona 4 Arena at number 2, tied with BB Tag. It's it's got a lot of similarities.
That was the first one I played, actually. Like the first anime fighter that I actually put some time into, because I love Chie. That's my queen. So
okay,
not playstyle wise, like personality wise. Yeah.
I'm a Mitsuru guy.
Mitsuru. Do I have to Google that?
Mitsuru, she's got a big sword. She can poke you, and it's fun. And she's got a lariat that's plus on block. So, Mitsuru Kirijo.
Huh. Oh yeah, the girl with the fencing sword. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, fancy sword. There you go.
Isn't she from a different Persona that they added? Yeah, right? Or is she just a brand new character?
I think she's Persona 3.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
like she was from a different yeah. Yeah, she's pretty cool. No, that's fine. I see that being a good choice. She can freeze you. She's a cryomancer.
Mm-hmm.
That could be a theme we have going with you.
Starting to notice a trend. Okay.
Yeah.
I am starting to notice a trend here.
You got to find your ice character for fighters.
In BB Tag, I really don't know. I'm still looking for an anchor, but Mitsuru is my point. And I've been rotating anchors for a while now.
I legit only played the Ruby characters in that game because my buddy works at Rooster Teeth. So I was enjoying the Ruby characters, but then not Rooster Teeth, but whoever does their music copyrighted all my videos. So that happened.
All right.
It could be it was YouTube and not them though, because YouTube also will copyright on behalf of the plaintiff, So it could be that
not if they don't have things set up for automatic claims.
Yeah, that's what I mean though. Like it might be automatic, but it wasn't for me personally. It wasn't like, hey, this guy, screw him.
Right.
But yeah, it was way later anyway. The videos were already out for like a month, but I just checked and I'm like, wait a minute. They all got claimed. Oh well.
Sucks.
All right, man. Well, it was fantastic having you for a guest. We learned a lot about the arena fighters and the anime fighters, all that good stuff. And we learned the best ones. So you all heard it here. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate you coming on and joining us.
It's just hey, just an opinion. If you buy a game and you don't like it, don't blame me. I do have reviews for all of them out on my channel. So if you watch a review, more important than the score is why I give it that score. Because the reasons might not apply to you. So make sure you pay attention. All right.
But definitely do make sure to check out his channel, though, because where can they find you at?
YouTube.com/Globku, Twitch.tv/Globku, Instagram.com/Globku, Twitter.com/Globku. I think you get the idea.
I can't believe those names weren't taken. You think at least one guy would have tried to get ahead of you and make you buy the URL or something. That's funny. You were fast.
I think I registered everything before blowing up, I think.
Perfect. Yeah, you're very business savvy, it seems like. You got all this stuff on lock.
I was surprised the TikTok wasn't taken. I registered that last week, so that was cool.
I'll have to check that out later. All right.
You don't need to.
One final... well, now I have to. But one final time, thank you for coming on, and thank you so much for watching, everyone, up until this point. It's a very long video, so thank you for sticking around, and have a fantastic weekend.